You won't believe this, but this is seriously one of the weirdest animals I've ever seen. It's totally wild. Can you name that animal? That's right, it's a sloth. And this sloth has green fuzz all over its body. But this isn't some kind of weird genetic mutation. Its green color is actually algae that is grown on the sloth's fur. Algae are simple photosynthetic organisms that can live in water or on land. And these algae have found the perfect place to grow, on the back of a sloth. When you look at a sloth up close, their fur looks like it's covered with moss, which is another organism that can photosynthesize. So why do sloths have algae growing on them? Well, the reason is camouflage. Sloths spend most of their lives in the treetops, where they are pretty easy to spot against the green leaves. But when algae grows on their back, it gives them a greenish hue that makes them blend in with the trees. This makes it much harder for predators like jaguars and harpy eagles to spot them. But now let's get back to our sloth. Sloths aren't the only animals that have algae growing on them. There's also a species of beetle that has algae farms growing on their backs. These beetles hang out on plants that are the same color as their shell so that they can camouflage. And while they're hanging out on these plants, algae grows on their shells, which makes them even better at blending in. The algae on the beetles also help protect them from drying out. It's not just bugs and sloths that have algae growing on them. There's a species of frog in Costa Rica that has algae growing in its skin. These little frogs like to hang out on land, and while they're on land, they need to stay moist in order to survive. Normally, if a frog stays out of water for too long, it can dry out and die. But these little frogs are able to stay moist thanks to the algae growing in their skin. These examples of animals with algae growing on them are just a few examples of the amazing things that happen in nature. Now, sloths have been around for about 65 million years. But they haven't changed much since they first appeared on Earth. They are still the slowest mammals on land, and they still spend most of their time hanging upside down in trees. Now, there are two different types of sloths, and both of them are native to Central and South America. There's the two-toed sloth, which has 2 claws on each hand and 3 on each foot. And then there's the three-toed sloth, which has 3 claws on each hand and 4 on each foot, even though they look similar. The three-toed sloth is actually more closely related to the armadillo than it is to the two-toed sloth. Even though sloths are great at camouflaging themselves, that hasn't stopped humans from hunting them. In the past, people have hunted sloths for their fur and their meat. And today, sloths are still sometimes hunted for their fur. This, along with habitat loss, has caused the sloth population to decline. But there are organizations working to protect sloths and their habitats. So hopefully, thanks to these efforts, we will see more sloths in the wild in the future. Sloths are fascinating creatures that are perfectly adapted to their environment. Their fur is the perfect camouflage for their arboreal lifestyle, and it also provides them with a way to grow algae. Thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, make sure to tune in next week. See ya.